So in today's video, I'm going to be doing some live Amazon FBA product research. So I'm going to spend about 30 minutes where you can literally sit, well, not literally, you can sit and watch me on my shoulder doing live product research. So I'm going to be using a tool called Helium 10. If you've never heard of it, I don't know what you've been doing because it's everywhere. But it's, in my opinion, the best tool for doing product research. And it also has a ton of other useful tools within it. But for me, the number one reason to get it is because of product research. Now, if you're interested and you don't already have it, there's a link in the description for a discount code. So I'm going to dive in and I'm going to show you exactly how to use it. But before I do that, I'm going to show you our results, because you might be thinking, if you're new to the channel, like, why would I trust this guy? How do I know he knows what he's talking about? So in the last 30 days, we have done just over $100,000 in sales. Hopefully you can see that there. So at the minute, yeah, we're on about $100,000 a month. This year, we should get to over $2 million in total revenue at a net profit, hopefully, of about 20%. Our goal is to grow the brand that we're working on now and sell it in the next 2 years. All right, so let's dive into product research with Helium 10. So I'm going to just quickly talk you through the filters. So this is basically where you tell the tool, where you tell Helium 10 what type of products to show you. Now, this is really important because it cuts out, anything that doesn't hit a certain criteria. So some of the main things are, I've picked kind of like a random group of categories. Don't spend too much worrying about this. I like pet supplies, baby products, arts and craft, toys and games, stuff like that. Review rating, I like to cap it at 4.5. The reason being is I want to see products where there is room for improvement. So I don't want to be seeing products where the overall review rating is 4.8, because that means the vast majority of people are very, very happy. And then I can't really find ways to actually improve that product most of the time. Review count, I don't put a max. If you do see people on YouTube and they say you should put maximum 300 reviews, unsubscribe, tell them in the comments that they don't know what they're talking about, because that's not the way that you do product research. It's not an indication of level of competition. Okay, I take that back. It's a tiny bit of an indication, but it's not what you should be focusing on. And I'll explain a little bit more about that later on in the video. Shipping size, I don't put anything. We're not against large products. And, when you get into this large, oversized, special oversize, it does get a little bit crazy, but we like to look at stuff like that because there are some opportunities there. Number of images, not too bothered. You can limit this if you want, and it will show you listings that only have 2 images, for example, which is very easy to beat in terms of the quality that you can produce. Variation count, I want to put this as maximum 3. And the reason for that is I don't want to see products that are like clothes where you've got, a ton of different sizes, different colors, because as a new seller, that's very, very difficult to compete with. Price, I want to go in with a minimum of $40, no maximum. The reason for this $40 price point is I don't want to sell products that are $15. It's very, very difficult to make them profitable. It's very difficult with PPC. The costs are rising on Amazon every single year. So you really want to sell products where you've got a lot of room to do your PPC, to pay your Amazon fees, and you're going to make profit at the end of it. Monthly revenue, I'm assuming I'm somebody that's got about $10,000 to invest. If that's the case, you should not be looking at products that are doing more than $15,000 to $20,000 max. And I'll go into that a little bit more in detail in the video, but you really want to make sure and understand that the products that you're going to be looking at is massively dictated and influenced by your budget. So if you've only got 10 grand, if you've only got 7 grand, you really need to cap the size of the market that you're looking to go into, because you can't afford to compete. So I actually cheated a little bit, and I did this before. Well, I didn't actually cheat. So I did this before. And what happened was my memory card ran out on my camera. And then I also realized that my audio wasn't recording. So I went back and I did it all again. But I found this product that I thought was pretty interesting. To explain my thought process of what I'm doing when I look at any of these products is there's a few things that I'm checking. Number one is the price point, and it's a nice price point, this one. Number two is what I want to do is I want to quickly check the quality of the listing. It's pretty good. I think we could do a better job. It's probably above average, which isn't amazing. But the reason that I'm doing that is because one of the ways that you can have an advantage in a niche is if the quality of the listings is quite low, then you've already got a head start on everybody if you just create a really, really nice looking listing. It's not the only thing that you should be doing, but it's a great way to sort of stand out. So obviously in this niche, right, we've got all of these different types of products. So you need to be thinking all the time who the person is behind the searches in this niche. So who is looking to buy this? Obviously it's a gun owner. It's somebody that does that as a hobby. And if you think about that person, there's probably a range of products like these, not like the actual gun or whatever that is. I don't think they sell guns on Amazon. But you can start to think about when you're doing your product research as brand research. So you're not just looking for individual products, you're looking to try and say, well, you know what, I'm going to create a brand that sells gun accessories to gun owners. That might be what you're looking to do, but this is what I'm looking at when I'm looking at products. The second thing that I want to do is I want to check the keywords, because you need to remember when you're doing your research that you're not just looking for individual products. You need to look at that product as a stepping stone, and then you need to look at the overall niche, and you're assessing the overall niche to see if you can come in and take a slice of that pie. Hope you like that, because that was it rolled off the tongue. So organic rank number one. So I want to quickly interrupt the video for 2 seconds because I want to talk to you about a service that we've recently started working with called Osome. Now, these guys, what they do is they essentially make it 100 times easier for you to do all of your business setup, your legal entity, your company creation, your taxes, your VAT. They basically make all of that sort of boring and time-consuming stuff really quick and really easy. So if you're at the stage where you're getting your business entity set up, you need all of that done in terms of official registration. These guys can do it super quick for you, it's super easy, and they just take all of the headache out of doing it. They'll also do everything related to your taxes and your accounting. I know myself, when I first started Amazon, that was a little bit daunting for me. And these guys will give you a personalized service for all of that stuff. So go and check out the link in the description. We've got some discount codes. We genuinely only recommend companies and services on the channel that we trust. And these guys are awesome. So go and check them out. Is what I'm going to put in here. So this is going to filter all of these keywords that this product ranks for. And it's going to show me basically where this product is getting its sales. Because what I want to do is I want to find the top keyword. Now, I did this before, and I don't think the top keyword is Glock 43 accessories. But what I want to do is I want to go to here and I want to find, I think there's one of these holsters that's got a lot of sales. I think it's this one. I'm going to look at the keywords for this one. So basically, as I said, what I'm doing is I want to see the overall opportunity in the overall niche. So I want to find the most relevant keyword that has the highest volume, because then when I search that keyword, I can then start to see the overall niche. I can see the size of it. I can see how competitive it is. I can see, ideas for how it can stand out. So this is the main keyword that I found before, Glock 43 X holster. So if we look at the search volume, if we click on this, what we want to see is kind of consistent search volume. So you can see actually, this is a product that is trending upwards year on year. This is growing. So you can see it's been a bit flat in the past 12 months, but this is a really good sign. Like if this was just slowly going down because less and less people were, looking for this. But this means year on year, there's growth in this market. So what I want to do is now I want to click on this, and this process that I'm doing of finding the product, clicking on keywords, using Cerebral, which is this tool here, finding the main keyword, which is the most relevant keyword that has the highest volume. That's what you need to do for everything that you look at, because you want to paint a picture of the overall niche, not just that one individual product. So this is the product that I looked at here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly scroll through. So now we can see we found the main niche here. We're no longer just looking at that individual product. We're looking at the overall niche. So what I want to see is if you click on filter results and hide sponsored results, it'll hide these top ones. So now I'm seeing who's ranking organically at the top. So you can see it's this Polecraft brand. And what I want to see is what country they're from. So what I like about this niche is they're all Chinese. Now, the reason that I like that is because Chinese brands, the vast majority of them only exist on Amazon. They're not really building real brands. They're not building, they're not building social media accounts. They're not doing, D2C. They're not doing Shopify. It's generally just a Chinese manufacturer that is just selling on Amazon. And they do really well. Obviously, like this guy is doing $70,000 a month. But what it means is from a branding perspective is you can beat these guys. You're never going to beat them on price, but you can beat them from a branding perspective. So I'm going to filter by revenue. So I think what ends up happening is some different products get thrown into the mix. This one is getting crazy amount of sales. But to go back to my original point about budget, what you need to be careful of is looking at niches like this and thinking that with your $10,000 budget that you can come into this niche, because you might look at this and be like, well, there's all these people doing all these numbers down here. The problem with looking at it like that is you've got to think about Amazon as a search engine, and Amazon is a search engine that you need to rank organically. So you need to appear organically when somebody searches for Glock 43 holster. That's your goal if you launch one of these. And in order to do that, you've got to beat all of these people with their number of sales. So if you don't do more than 1,300 sales a month, you're never going to beat this guy organically for this keyword. It's a little bit more complex than that. I'm oversimplifying it for the sake of an explanation. But basically, you need to think, do I have enough money to be able to compete with the top 15 people in this niche? All of these people are doing at least $1,000 a sale a month, or up to about here. And they're doing about $30,000 in revenue. So in order to compete, you would need about $30,000 worth of stock just for 1 month's worth of sales. So you're going to need at least 2 to 3 months worth of sales to launch this product. So what it means really is that in order to compete with all of these guys here, you're going to need at least, I would say, $100,000. And I know that might sound crazy, but that's the reality of selling on Amazon. And these are the things that these other Amazon gurus on YouTube are not going to tell you, because they don't really understand this themselves, because the vast majority of them are not actually selling on Amazon. So a good rule of thumb is to remember, if you think you want to come in here and you want to do $78,000 a month, you're going to need about that same amount. You're going to need about $78,000 in order to properly do this. So it doesn't mean it's the end of the world if you've only got $8,000, but what it means is you can't come into niches where the top sellers are doing $168,000. The demand is too big, and you're not going to be able to keep up with the sales. Even if your product does really well, it's going to sell out in 3 days. And then what do? You're screwed. You've got no more money to keep going. So that's one of the key things that I want to talk about. So, but let's assume that I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, you know what? I've got $100,000. I've got a couple of investors that I'm working with. They want to sell on Amazon with me, and we're going to raise $100,000 to try and do this. So what then I would do is I would come over to Alibaba. I would check out the rough prices. Now, one of the benefits of a product like this is, as I said before, the Amazon fees are going to be quite low because the product is small and it's light. So this is going to be $25. So what you need to look at, so you can see the Amazon fee is about $8, which is about a third of this, which is great. You really want to be getting your Amazon fee to the point where it's about a third of the revenue of the product. Because if this Amazon fee was $15, you're already spending $15. You're already paying Amazon $15 to sell this product. And then you've only got $10 left for your PPC and the actual cost of the product. So really what you want to see in a product is a really low Amazon fee relative to the price of the product. So I would come over here and I would start to look at all of these different products to see a rough price. So I think these products, they're around $4 or $5. There's obviously different materials, stuff like that. You got these cheaper ones like this. But yeah, I'm not going to spend forever on this one because I want to look at a few different products. But make sure you're finding the highest volume keyword that's the most relevant. Make sure you're looking at the overall niche. And then make sure all the time you can afford to go into that niche. If you've got $10,000, you don't want to be going into a niche like this. It's way too big. If I did have, $100,000 to go into this niche, I would be thinking of ways that I can stand out. The first thing that I think is they all kind of look the same. You've got some in here that are carbon fiber. I know that's a really sort of popular look with a lot of these types of products. You've got some leather ones. You've just got to think of a way that you can stand out versus all of these people, which is probably not going to be super easy. There's only so much that you can do with a holster. I wouldn't try and bundle it with another item. That's not something that I'm a fan of. But basically, if this ticks the box for me in terms of my budget, I would just deep dive into all of the reviews, and then I would figure out a way that I can stand out in this niche. All right, so let's go back and look at another couple of products. Parted snowboard bag. So this is a bag for snowboards. Never heard of this brand. Only one left in stock. So again, let's go through the process. Quickly, I'm looking. What I like about this straight away is the listing is pretty crap. It's not terrible, but it's not amazing, is it? But I'm going to look at the keywords again because what I want to see is what it's ranking for. So you can see it's 20. So it launched just before Christmas. Did well in December, I guess. Oh no, this is 20. Oh, this is last year. So let's have a look at the keywords. Let's look at 1, 2. I want to do to 20 because I want to see a broader range of keywords. No data, so it's not ranking for anything. That's a bit weird. 40. Ski luggage bag, ski bag with wheels. So it's not really ranking for that, but that's not a massive problem. So ski bag with wheels. The price point on these is pretty good. A lot of people won't look at these types of products because they're expensive and people don't want that. One thing that we need to remember with anything related to like skiing is it's seasonal. So these products, if we look at this keyword volume now, 1176, that probably dies off in the summer, right? Yeah, it goes to nothing. So it doesn't completely count out this product, but it does make it a bit more difficult. So this is one thing that you need to look at. For that reason, I'm going to go back, but I do kind of like the price point in here. If we have a look at the revenue overall, just so we can kind of understand how would this fit our budget potentially. So this is what's going to happen. You're going to have a few different things mixed up in here. So you're going to have other products like this one. But so this is a rolling ski bag. So this is a crate. I mean, look at the size, 450. So straight away, yeah, this is not a niche for a beginner. This is just way too big. So let's go back. Inflatable pool shell. Let's have a look at these. So this lovely lady here is enjoying the pool. This is probably a seasonal product again. It's not doing much in terms of revenue, so I'm not sure why Helium 10 has brought this. So it looks like it was doing okay at one point. So again, what I would be doing is I would be looking around the niche. I would be trying to find, what the top keywords are. And then I would be seeing, how big is the niche? Does it fit my budget? If it does fit my budget, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the competition. I'm going to understand how competitive it is, how good the listings are in the niche. And then I'm going to just, figure out if there's a way that I can stand out and bring something in. So it just looks like it kind of ranks for a load of like random keywords. None of them are very big in terms of volume. So I'm going to go back. I'm not going to look any further at that. Electric water filter, bike rack, warrior cosplay, Final Fantasy. I don't like that it's got a brand name in there. Dog grass pad, $45. Let's have a look at this. The pet niche is just crazy. There's so many products. So one thing that I like off the bat with this is the reviews are pretty terrible, indicating that there's going to be a lot of room to improve this product. I like the fact that this is just obvious crap Photoshop. The listing itself it's not bad. It's not bad. It's a typical Chinese sort of brand. It's not bad. It kind of does the job, I guess. But it's interesting to see how bad the reviews are for a product like this, and then it's actually still doing quite well. So this is the bestseller rank that I'm looking at. This is an indication of how well it sells. So if you can't see the actual sales data, you can still see with this. I think this is probably doing like maybe 10, 12,000 a month. I can't actually see the revenue, but the BSR at that level is probably doing about $10,000 a month, I would assume. The FBA fee is quite high. So the FBA fee is $18.78 and it's a $46 product. So the FBA fee is $40 at 40% of the overall price. So that's one thing that you've got to consider when you're looking at this stuff. But again, I would just go back and I would look at the overall niche. I'm finding the biggest keyword. I'm then assessing, the whole niche. I'm seeing what stands out. I'm seeing if there's a way I think that I could stand out. I'm seeing if it fits my budget. Once you get into the habit of doing this, I can find 20 products a day that we could sell and 20 products. So puppy grass pea pad with tray. Now that's a super specific keyword, which I like because that means you know exactly what people are looking for. And look at this. So this looks like it went nuts during COVID, and now it's kind of declining, but there's a lot of products like this that kind of went nuts during COVID. But I'm going to take, so what I've done now is I've found this main keyword, and then what we're going to see is all this sort of stuff. So one thing about a product like this is, you know, people are probably, if you think about the people buying this, it's dog owners. It's a very functional product. It's a product for me that is probably going to be quite price sensitive, because you kind of just want something that does the job, right? You want something that's doing a decent job, and, you know, it is not going to cost you the earth. So this one is doing nuts revenue. This one is doing, you know, 64K. This one is interesting because this one is way higher in terms of the price point. So this is real grass. That is interesting. So this is actually real grass. So this is seen on Shark Tank. So do you renew the grass? That's weird. That's weird. I mean, it's an interesting fresh patch. This looks like it's something that might have a pattern on it or something like that. I mean, it's an interesting product, right? Like, so you can actually buy fresh grass to train your puppy on. So I'm going to look at the other one. So this one is, I mean, I mentioned before not to look at the reviews, but there is a caveat to that. When everybody has got like 20,000 reviews, you're going to have to do something pretty crazy to sort of stand out. But again, you know, looking at the size of this niche, you've got, I mean, people at the top. I mean, this is a different product, but these guys are doing 300 grand, which is crazy. And then you've got these guys. So if I was to enter this niche, I would be looking, you would need $40,000-$50,000 to be able to compete with like these people here. So this is the mistake that most of you are going to make, is you will look at these numbers here and you'll think that's who you're competing against. Doesn't really work that way. So you have to take into account the overall niche. So I wouldn't really go into that niche unless I had, you know, a ton of cash. But let's see if we can find, I've got about 8 minutes left before my camera turns off, because it only gives me 30 minutes. So let's see if we can find something, a hunting blind. What I like about products like this is A, the price point. B, is you know exactly who is buying this. You know that this is people that enjoy hunting. The more that you know about the customer, the easier it is to sell things to them. What I don't like is products that are very generic, where you don't really know who's buying them, because it means it's just difficult. So let's have a look at this. So again, look, let's have a look at the Amazon fee. The Amazon fee is $34.54. The price point is great. If we have a look at their store in a minute, I'm not going to look at it yet. Like, the listing is pretty good. It's, you know, you can see this appealing to a hunter. It clearly shows the product, but I think we could do a better job. What we're going to have to be doing in this niche is thinking, we're competing against all of these guys. How are we going to stand out? One thing is, like, visually, they all look exactly the same, but you can't really do very much visually because they've got to look like this, because otherwise the deers are going to see you and run away. So I'm going to go through the same process. I'm going to look at the keywords. I'm going to see the keywords that this product is ranking for. I'm going to assess the overall niche. I'm going to see if it fits my budget. I'm going to pretend that it does fit my budget anyway. And then I'm going to look at, you know, the reviews and see if there's, all right, so deer blind, ground blind. What I like about this is there's a nice range of keywords here. So you've got 4 different keywords that are over almost, you know, 1,000 each. Let's just have a look at the history. I'd imagine this kind of went, all right, oh, look at this. So it peaks, it goes crazy then in the summer. Still good demand in the winter months and the spring or whatever. But then, you know, it seems to go nuts over certain periods of time. Well, that's November. I guess that's hunting season or something, right? So let's have a look at deer blind then. Let's see the overall niche. My immediate reaction with this is, visually, I do not know how you would stand out in this niche, because, like, if I'm here and I'm a customer, like, I might click on this one because I can see the little stool. That might attract my attention. But it looks like the top seller is this one here, probably because it's got the most reviews. Like, if there's nothing to differentiate where you're going to click, like, you're just going to click on the one that's got the most reviews. So what I would do at that point is go into here. So you can see this probably looks like it's, this Rhino brand is a dedicated brand. Another thing that I don't love is when they have all of these variations, which is a shame because I wanted to look a bit more at this product. But 4.4, so I would go to the negative reviews, look at the 1-star reviews and see poor quality, no stand, received these blind. The blind is trash. Zipperless door, broken, junk, very disappointed, junk. So the general consensus in the 1-star reviews, I mean, it's got 4.4 overall, so it's still got a lot of happy customers, is it's just cheap quality. So if you think about this as a product, right, then you buy this and you probably want to keep it for as long as you can. So I think this is a product that people are willing to spend more money on if they think it's going to be, really high quality. Like if you think about the puppy pad that we looked at, you're not really buying that for life, are you? You're buying that for when your dog, your puppy is a baby, and then that's it. So I actually like products like this that people are willing to spend a bit more on from a quality angle. Revenue wise, okay, so this is a good example. So I would want to come into this niche with about $50,000 because ignore that top one because it's not related. The top seller's doing about 76K. So I would want to come in with a new product and I would want to come in between 64 and 42. So I would need about 50 to 60 grand in order to do that. If you gave me 50 grand, I could get a product to rank up here. I think I would have to look at the keywords and all of that type of stuff. But I believe that we could create a high quality version of one of these, make a really nice listing, do a really great launch, and we could get to about here. All right, so that's it. I'm going to leave it here because I've done enough and my camera's about to shut off. Go and check out my other videos. I did another video recently on product research and a few tips around doing that. I've also done some videos recently on, just random stuff. So go and check them out here and I will see you in the next one.